What's going on, good people? Rich here.
It's your girl Ray P in the building, and welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden. We're still in February, so it's Romance Month, and of course, I am joined by my amazing 1/3 of the Culture Garden, my amazing co-host, friend, confidant, road dog,
Ooh.
fave, fratter, love, my dog. K Rich, what's going on?
My goodness. Shit. Nah, to make a nigga feel good, man. Appreciate you, Ray P. You know what I'm saying? You already know. I walked right into that one. Man. I appreciate you. Damn sure appreciate you, man. Feels good to always be here recording with you. Um, Likewise, everything you just said times two, right back to times five, excuse me, right back at you. Like I said, it's always a pleasure being here. You mentioned 1/3, 2/3. Shout out to school.
Shout out to
Shout
school.
out, shout out to school's guilty pleasures, man. It's funny because he hit me and Rachel up in the group chat about a movie. He was like, "Man, I got a movie, but I don't want to take it away from Culture Guard." And we was like, "Hey, man, have at it." I'm very. I
Sure.
believe it's the next movie he's gonna do.
Okay.
I didn't ask him for sure, but I am looking forward to listening to it and hearing his thoughts on the film. And seeing him do his thing with that. So shout out to School's Guilty Pleasures. Shout out to We Got Y'all, Ray P,
Gotcha.
television podcast. Had an episode released last week on
Yeah.
Raising Canaan, so that's still up. Before we started recording tonight, we were talking about some ideas of some things that we might be looking at dropping in the next week or two. So just like I said, subscribe to that feed. If you look at the episode description, you will see the Linktree. You'll see where everything's located: YouTube, School's Guilty Pleasures, everything like that. So please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you share with anybody who loves television, who loves film, who loves the culture, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That's the biggest way to spread the word. It's like word of mouth. So please let people know about the content. And before we get into today's episode, there will be spoilers and explicit content. Today, we're talking about What Men Want, 2019 film. But real quick, man, real quick, we are going to take a quick pivot and have a conversation. Hopefully, not to go longer than 10. Definitely no longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's something that's fascinating that happened. And like I said, this is unlike the Culture Garden. This isn't even movie related, even though it could be a damn film. And normally we would just go on with the show, but this shit's been on my mind since Rachel brought it to my attention. And I've had a couple of days to sit with it. And I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Reesa Teesa situation.
Yeah.
If you're not here for Reesa Teesa, obviously you're here to listen about What Men Want. I'm gonna put a timestamp in the episode description so that way you can just look and see when we actually start talking about the movie.
Yeah.
But we have to like just comment a little bit. So I'm gonna open up the floor, Rachel, because I'm sitting there chilling. I'm on TikTok. Not TikTok, excuse me, because I'm not on TikTok like that. I have a TikTok app, but I don't browse TikTok. I'm not one of them. I was on IG, and I was looking at Ray P's Instagram story, and she was talking about, hey, are y'all watching this Reesa Teesa situation going on? And she talked about buying. You talked about buying the in-flight Wi-Fi, and Rachel, we just connected in a way. The way you said it, and I know you don't be impressed by shit, or you don't really be pressed about too much. So the way you were talking about it made me like, hold on, what is this? I immediately went to TikTok and was like, what is this she's talking about? And I saw that first video, and I watched the whole 50 parts, 5 hours, however long it was. I think somebody timed it because it's in one big YouTube clip. But I watched the entire 5 hours in the span of 2 days. And you found it first. What's up? I gotta know your thoughts on this.
Yeah. So I actually came across people discussing it on Twitter or X, and then one of my groups mentioned it on Facebook. And so I'm like, let me find this because I don't have a TikTok. So I searched
Hmm.
it on Facebook and found Reesa Tessa. I'm not sure how she pronounces that. I found her Facebook page, and I, like you, started from the beginning and walked through the entire 50-part series. Now,
I love that. I love how you said walk through, because
yeah,
that's exactly what it was. It was definitely a walk. It was a stroll.
she slow walked us through it. I mean, candidly, a lot of that could have been cut and it could have been condensed, but I appreciate the level of detail and the level of caution that she took with not exposing, anybody. But the internet is going internet, and obviously people have now been exposed, and people come forward or have come forward on their own based off of the popularity and virality of the
Yeah.
thread. I was so blown away and flabbergasted, honestly, by the level of foolishness that we saw in that 50-part series.
The level of fuckery.
The level of fuckery. And so I mentioned in that Instagram in my story, like, I have been a fool. And I wholeheartedly have been a fool. I'll never tell you. I'll never tell the internet some of the
Oh,
things that I have done. That is between me and God, okay? Uh,
hey, listen.
but I saw a lot of people really, really coming down hard and coming down bad on her.
On her?
Yeah.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
not really. I'm not. I don't want to say it like I'm shocked, because I'll share my thoughts after you
Yeah.
finish. But go ahead.
But it just made me feel badly for her.
Hmm.
I don't have TikTok and I don't follow her on Facebook. It didn't make me want to learn anything else about her life. Like, I know too much. But
Facts. Facts.
but this is a 30 something year old woman who, at the literally the top of the pandemic, met a man who seemingly checked all the boxes. I mean, she did not do any background checking. Like, they moved in together after about 2 weeks of knowing each other. While the world is
Hmm.
shut down, you quarantine. There was a baby, there was a miscarriage, fraud, just all sorts of things. And candidly, she talks about how there were so many red flags, red flags, red flags, and she just bypassed them. And maybe part 14 or 15, she actually says, you know, this is because I was lonely and because I was ready for it to be my turn. And I was tired of waiting on God. Like, I'm telling God, like, no, it's time right now. This is the nigga. And again, without giving too much and never to that effect, but I know what it's like to be like, God damn, when is it gonna be my turn? Like, people will say that they're not moved at all by the social media and mm, the popularization or the glamorization
The
of
highlight real
relationships.
culture.
Yeah, for sure. But even if it's not to that extreme, there's been a day that went by in your life that you felt like, damn, must be nice.
Yeah.
I can be honest in saying that. So she just took it to a whole nother extreme. And again, it's top of the pandemic. Well, the duration, we're really still in the pandemic. Not that y'all believe it, but anywho,
Facts. Facts.
don't get me into my science bag. But it's at the top, so everybody is isolated, and it's just her and this nigga in the trenches. And he is literally dragging her through the mud. Like, he just lied. And I don't know if you've ever known or dealt with a liar, but it is crazy, and it will make you second guess your own sanity. Like, am I tripping? Am I the fool? Am I the liar? And she was very much the fool, but I don't want to bash her like, yes, you should have known better. But all I can hear is RP Senior in the back of my
Are
head.
you that? Are you? That's first thing I thought of, Rachel. That's the first thing I thought of on everything.
Yeah.
Are you that love
Are
starved?
you that love starved? And unfortunately, my good sis was that love starved. She's an older, I don't know, woman, a big body bends. And so I can only think that maybe her esteem wasn't right where it should have been, or just that need to not be lonely, that love starved, that desperate that you would just take anything and make it okay. Like, it's one thing y'all moved in, but to bind your life to this nigga, to be in covenant to marry this man who hadn't met your family, and they was real churchy. She was real churchy. A nigga will play on that. Of course, we're not gonna live in sin. We're not gonna shack up. We're gonna get married. That's what we should do. If I know that that's really something that you desire, if I know that it's bothering you that you're quote unquote living in sin, this and the third, nigga, I'm flabbergasted. Like, I feel really, really, really bad for her, but also, where's your goddamn sense? In the other words of RP, have some pride about yourself. Like, what is happening?
Oh man. All right. So I didn't say it at the beginning or give a proper description, but as we mentioned her name, but it's a 50-part series about who the fuck did I marry.
Mhm,
Just all these realizations of who this person actually is, that she met. I can't even really say fell in love with,
mhm.
but met, got to know, and ended up marrying and the whole nine. So if you want to go watch it on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, go do that. All right. So this took me through the roller coaster of emotions, Rachel.
Yeah.
Because this isn't my bag for real.
Mhm.
This is not something I would normally even bother watching. But once you start, it's that slow build to where you
Yeah,
gotta keep going. And my I was talking to school about this a week or two ago. So it's funny, but our grandmother used to have this phrase where she said, "Don't get people to stick to hit you in the head with."
bruh.
So in other words, I feel for it. And I
Mhm,
know that's probably not a popular sentiment right now because
mhm.
the internet is what it is and people like to get their jokes out. But I really do feel for it. However, I do understand that once you put your story out there in public consumption like this,
Mhm.
you have to at least know that that side of it's coming.
Yeah.
So it's no point of even fighting people who have, making the jokes and all that. Let
Mhm.
them, you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
There were times throughout her telling the story where she chuckled at herself
Yeah.
because she knew saying it out loud, this sounds nuts. Like,
That
I
part.
get it.
That part.
It's very interesting. And I don't know if the slow walk, as you mentioned earlier, is the reason why I felt like this, but you forget that all of this happened in the span of like not even a year and a half. I don't even think it was 18 months.
Correct.
But it felt like it was so much piled on top of each other.
Mhm.
And absolutely you get frustrated with her because of all the red flags that you see,
Yeah.
everything with the houses, the cars.
Mhm.
Um, even if you go through with that, even if that keeps happening over and over, with all that information, you still make the conscious decision to marry him, which is wild.
Yeah.
Not gonna judge her or say anything about that. The only reason I say that is because um there are people who, if I'm shooting her some bail in real time, y'all, if we take ourselves back to 2020 when COVID first happened, I'm telling you, man, think about where your emotions were. Think
Mhm.
about how vulnerable a lot of people were during that time. Nobody wanted to be by themselves except
Yeah.
for like the true loners.
Yeah.
If you were a true loner, that was a cool time. But even then, after a while, I want some, people got cabin fever. I want some human interaction. So I
Exactly.
understand it. Was it wild? Absolutely. Is it some shit that I do? Hell nah. Would
Hell
I
no.
be concerned if Rachel called me and told me that shit? Would I could be concerned? Absolutely. But go ahead.
No, that's just it. And maybe I am so jaded. And Lord, don't hurt my heart. But there's you wouldn't see me like this. I have done some shit and my foolishness and folly is not on display. But to this level, it just
Because
wouldn't. Only because I feel like her circle wasn't circling enough.
it
Hard enough.
wasn't. That's
You know
the
what I'm
that's the
saying?
main thing. Absolutely. And I get her saying that, what happens in my marriage stays in my marriage. I respect that and I get that, but you gotta have
Even
somebody, you gotta have some kind of outlet.
even before that, this is top of COVID. All it takes, as soon as I say I like somebody, an image goes in the group chat. Reverse search, one of my parents is a retired police officer. So the background checks be background checking. Like, there's just no way. I feel bad. And to her point, one thing that it did resonate when you're in the trenches of foolishness. Sometimes you just keep that shit to yourself. And one of those videos, she said, niggas didn't even know like what the fuck was happening.
Mhm.
And I get that too, because while shame didn't keep her, she said it was cathartic to tell this. So while it didn't keep her from telling the world this crazy ass story, she kept it to her chest, you know what I'm saying, in her real life while it was in real time. And I get that, because it'd be some shit like, you know what? I can't even say this shit out loud because my niggas will whoop
Nah.
ass.
And you know what it made me think of, and here's the main point, and I'll we can get off of it, or at
Yeah,
least I'll say my piece on it, because this is the one thing. If I did have to say anything, I wanted to say this. Um, I understand why she had to tell that story.
yeah.
Um, because what happens is when you watching all of this, you're listening to all 50 of these parts. Like I
Mhm.
said, it's 5 hours, and during that time, you're just gathering information. And I don't know if anybody who actually sat down 5 hours straight. So,
Yeah,
like I said, it's cut up in pieces. So while if I stopped at part 15, for however long it takes me to get back to it, I'm just thinking about everything that happened, and I'm just all this information and just all this fact gathering and so on and so forth. And then you get to the end of it and you get a moment to stop and just think about what happened. Once
yeah,
the shock of all this shit is going on, or I guess once it expired, you actually sit down and like, damn, like this woman just went through a traumatic event that I don't even know if I've ever thought about.
yeah,
Like I don't even know if I picture myself or anybody I love being in a situation where you can live with someone, be around someone every day for 12, 14 months, and they only told you 4 or 5 truths in
crazy.
that time. That's insane. And I don't know if I can really put that like into terms. So when I think about how traumatic it was, the first person I thought of was G Dep.
Mm,
For those out there who remember the rapper, who he just got clemency actually, but
yeah.
in 2010, he walked into a police station and turned himself in for a murder that he committed in 1993.
Mhm.
When somebody asked him about it, I guess got interviewed for it. He just said, "Man, it was just that shit was weighing on me, and I
Yeah.
really been trying to get myself right with God."
Mm,
And I can understand, and I've never been through anything that crazy or traumatic, but I can understand how certain things, when they don't sit right in your spirit,
yeah,
you got to get it right. You got to correct it.
for
It
sure.
physically, mentally is almost like you can't continue with any regular
Mhm.
function until you clear that slate.
Yeah.
So I get the fact that she probably had 4 years, 3 years to sit on it. It was
Mhm.
like, yo, due to how traumatizing this was, I have to say something. And it sounds so unbelievable at times, but just the way she reminisced and she told those stories, like, this shit really happened to her.
This shit
So
really happened to her.
yeah, this shit really happened to her. So like I said, the main thing I guess I would hope people would take away from this, if whoever's ears this hit, is, you know, show that sister some grace,
Yeah.
shoot her some bail, be easy on her. Mike in the Woods said it the best, man. Life is funny. You just don't want to laugh when it's you. Like I
That
get the
part.
humor. I think she gets the humor.
That
She
part.
gets it.
Yeah.
But also really sit down and think about just how traumatic that would be, how terrifying that is. like it's as scary. And I don't want to minimize it, so hopefully I'm not saying the wrong thing, but mentally it's as scary as if it was a physical type of thing.
For sure. For
Like
sure.
it's scary. Like that part is even more scary. So um, you know, everybody can get their jokes off. I get it. Everybody gonna say this, that, and the third, but also hold some space for that sister who went through one of the most traumatic things ever. Who has to rebuild her life, who has to learn how to trust people again, who has to learn how to let people in, and also deal with this newfound fame for better or for worse, and
Mhm.
all the criticism that comes with it.
For sure.
Because unfortunately, there are going to be people that reach out and support, but we know how it is in 2024. We know how the internet is, and um, I just want her to have a soft place to land
For
when
sure.
all of this is said
For
and
sure.
done. And I know there's going to be a ton of different takes, but if I had to give my 2 cents and put it out there, that's the main thing I wanted to leave everybody with. So
Yeah.
shout out to her for sharing her truth, man. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't entertaining, like I wasn't just like, what the fuck? I text Rachel like, what the fuck in the trapped in the closet do you got me watching? Like,
Yeah.
what is this? And as the
Mhm.
pieces go on, like I said, after that shot goes out for you, like that was fucking traumatic. Like that
For
was
sure.
fucking nuts.
For sure.
So shout out to that system, man. Don't know why you told that story. Like I said, I get why you did it. Took a lot because my goodness, I don't know if I could ever reveal something like that to strangers.
Come on.
But
Come on. Exactly that. And we can leave it, but I just want to say, sisters in the dating realm, navigating these apps and whatever else that you do, just be careful. Be diligent. Triple check. We meet people's representatives. You never know who the fuck somebody is. People turn crazy all the time. Niggas are tricky and fickle. And I know that because I'm
absolutely.
niggas.
Hey man, happy that sister's safe physically. You know, hopefully she becomes safe
I
mentally,
pray
man.
she's in
But
deep therapy. I Lord
absolutely,
cover and keep her. Amen.
absolutely. Like I said, man, this current events ain't even my thing or anything that I really would normally brush on. But oh man, I just had so many thoughts about that, and like I said,
Yeah,
seeing the banter about what she's going through, man, I want to make sure people remember and keep it in perspective.
for sure.
Even though I get like most of us are gonna be like that shit would have never happened to me. Talk about wouldn't happen to me. Wouldn't let that shit happen to me.
Baby.
But anyway,
Now I'm
synopsis.
scared to even say it because I don't want the Lord to be like, keep living.
I know, right? Keep on living. Like, and you know what, Rachel? That's a great example. That's a great example. That's a great reminder. Don't ever say no shit won't happen to you because there's tons of shit. There's tons of shit that I said I'd never do that I done.
For sure. For
You know what I mean?
sure.
You never know who you are until that shit looking at you in the face. And you're like, all right, well, here's the decision.
That's it.
Um, yeah, you're gonna say you say you gonna whoop a nigga ass, and that ass whooping moment comes,
You
what you
better
gonna
be
do?
prepared.
You better be prepared, nigga, because you was nigga walk up on you, say, hey, I heard you was gonna whoop my ass. Now what?
Girl, crazy.
All types of shit, man. That's not a me example. I'm just saying in general. Like, just make sure you can back whatever you stand on, whatever you talking.
Because you
At the
can't
end of the day, just straight up. What men want? What men want, man?
win.
Very interesting film. We'll get into our thoughts. I think this is going to be more of a conversation
For
versus a
sure.
category type of thing.
For sure.
It really gives me Welcome Home, Roscoe Jennings.
Jenkins.
And Jenkins. Shit, I'm tripping, man. Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Shout out to Marty Marr, man. But what I mean by that is the movie is just set up in a way to where it is what it is. It's made for what it's made for.
Mhm.
And we'll get into the stats and synopsis and all that. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the film and just see what we discussed throughout it. But as far as the synopsis, a woman is boxed out by the male sports agents in her profession, but gains an unexpected edge over them when she develops the ability to hear men's thoughts. Film was released February 8th, 2019, directed by Adam Shankman. He's directed a few movies, especially in the rom-com era range. He's had The Wedding Planner, A Walk to Remember. I only wrote that down because I've been rewatching Entourage. It's the 20-year anniversary this summer. And there was a moment when Vince Chase and Mandy Moore had an incident on the set of Walk to Remember. Silly shit. He directed an episode of Monk. Shout out to School. That's one of his favorite shows. He directed 5 episodes of Being Mary Jane and also directed Bringing Down the House. The screenplay was written by Tina Gordon. Now, we've spoken about her in previous episodes. She wrote Drumline, ATL, Peoples. She also wrote Little. She directed People as well. And she also wrote Praises, Rachel.
Okay, my
Yeah,
movie.
she wrote Praises. Yeah. Like I said, she directed People's, Little, and Praises. And the film was also written by Peter Huck and Alex Gregory. The story was written by Tina Gordon and Jason Waters. So the previous three wrote the screenplay. The last two wrote the actual story.
Now
The
that
film
you
had a
say that, not to cut you off, now that you say that she wrote Little, I wrote down that this reminds me of Little. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Little was a Will Packer production, but Will Packer Productions all kind of seem to have a same type of feel to them.
Got it.
I don't know if I can explain that, but it just kind of does. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
The film had a budget of an estimated $20 million and made 72.2 million worldwide, which I was actually pleasantly surprised by. I didn't know that this movie made $50 million.
I don't know anybody
18,
has seen it.
listen, Listen, I was shocked when I saw that number. I'm happy. Pleasantly surprised, but I was shocked. $18.2 million opening weekend. It opened up at number 2 at the box office behind the Lego Movie 2. However, it is important to point out one thing. The Lego Movie was shown in 1,391 more theaters than What Men Want. So even though it did beat it for opening weekend, it was shown in, like I said, damn near 1,500 more theaters. The film is currently streaming on Philo and Hulu with premium subscriptions, and you can rent it as well, or if you don't own it. Nothing really for awards. We'll get into the cast. Taraji P. Henson is Ollie Davis. Aldous Hodge is Will Thomas. Richard Roundtree is Skip Davis. Tracy Morgan is Joe Dollar Berry. Shane Paul McGee as Jamal Berry. Tomala Jones is Marie. Ohio's very own Phoebe Robinson as Sierra, Erica Badu as sister, Josh Brenner as Brandon Wallace, the assistant, Wendy McClendon Covey in the second week in a row for her. She played Olivia, Max Greenfield as Kevin Myrtle, and Brian Bosworth, the Boz, former football player, as Nick Ivers, the head of the agency. Ray P.
Yeah.
It's Romance Month. This was
It
your
is.
week to pick. What made you want to go with this one?
I don't remember why I picked this movie.
I ain't gonna hold you. You caught me off guard because we've discussed multiple movies, movies that you got in the tuck and you just kind of had on a list, and this didn't pop up at once. So when you sent it, I'm like, oh, okay.
It had to have been based off of a discussion we were having. What did we do before Sylvie's Love?
We did Beyond the Lights,
Beyond the Lights.
and before that, we
I
did
know
Waist Deep.
I know exactly why. Because we were talking about women doing the heavy lifting in relationships and this and that. So I said, okay, let's do
Yeah.
what we want.
Okay.
Why did I do that?
Oh man.
Here we are
Here we are, man.
with
I think
box
we
office
can.
smash. What men
Hey,
want.
listen, man. Will Packer, man. Night School made money, didn't it? Shit.
It did. It did.
Ray P, classic or not?
No.
Nah, not a classic. As far as the origin of the film goes, it was announced in 2017. And for those who don't know, this is they like the term reimagining of the 2000 film What Women Want, starring Helen Hunt and thou who we shall not say because it's Black History Month.
For sure.
Which makes me actually think about, he who shall not be named. I wonder how upset he was.
Oh, furious.
I'm sure he had to be furious, pissed off.
Furious.
Like, he probably used his favorite word that ends in ER multiple times.
For sure.
I just randomly thought about that doing this. Like, oh, Buddy had to get pissed. Taraji was always attached to film the movie. I didn't find anything about like anybody else who could have possibly played the role or was thinking about playing the role. Shankman came on to direct after that, and then Max Greenfield and Tracy Morgan were added to the cast. So nothing real crazy about the origin of the film, other than they don't like the term remake. And when you look at both films, it's not really a remake. It just happens to be a common coincidence they both happen to have this ability to get into people's heads. As far as stories go, maybe a couple of things. There was actually, I think, one line in particular that was damn near verbatim from what women want to what men want, but that's about it.
Got it.
First experiences. Ray P, you remember the first time you saw this film?
Yeah, I watched it on TV. I did not go to the theaters to see this. So at home in Charlotte on the couch.
I I too saw this film in Charlotte at the movie theaters.
You've seen a lot of movies in Charlotte.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. Yeah, 2019. February 2019. I saw it in the theaters in Charlotte. That's all we got to
Crazy.
say about it. Um, it's like this film is interesting, man. It's like I don't know. It's like giving a rich person. It's like giving a billionaire $10,000, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't need this shit, but if you're giving it to me, I'll take it.
I take
And
it. Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel about this movie. Like nobody needed it. I don't think anybody asked for it. My life would have been perfectly fine if this movie never came out. But
Mhm.
since you gave it to us, I'll watch it. And I'll tell you this. I will say this. As someone who saw this in the theaters, it's a much better at-home movie. It's an airplane movie. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not meant to be. One of the things about movie experiences are the reactions from the people there. Now, granted, it wasn't really a packed theater when I went to see it, and why are you smirking, man? Chill. It wasn't a packed theater when I went to go see it, and some of the jokes just didn't land how they were supposed to land in the theater.
Mhm.
But like I said, if you got it on as background noise and you're just doing whatever, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. But I didn't need it.
I don't know when the next time I'll press play on this is.
Yeah,
And it's crazy because I love Aldous Hodge. I think
it's
he's from
my
South
dog.
Carolina. I have loved him since Underground, where I was introduced to him. So which
Shout
surprises
out
me.
to my fault.
John
Shout out to
Legend.
Friday. Shout out to Friday Night Lights.
Uh,
Season one, Ray Voodoo Tatum for all you Friday Night Light fans. That was my introduction to Aldous
got
Hodge.
it. Okay. Shout out to that. I only seen the
Yeah,
movie. I never saw the show.
yeah.
Um,
Show's great.
so I was surprised that I didn't love this. Not, I mean, not really surprised, but that's what made me like geek. Like, oh, okay, you know what? I missed it in the theaters. I was traveling a lot in 2019, so I'm like, okay, here it is available on TV. Love Taraji, love him. Here we go. I don't know if I'll press play again. I won't get that 419 from Amazon back.
Nah, that's real.
I
Since
want
we
it.
started, I got it. I'm gonna Apple Pay you 419 after this is over. Even though it was your pick, but what one thing I will say is that's an interesting thought process because I have a lot of DVDs still. Laugh if you want
Mhm,
to. I still have a lot of DVDs. But as everything is moving towards digital, I do find myself, um, if it's not on streaming, I'll rent it or I'll buy it, like on
mhm,
Vudu or something like that. And I always have that decision. This for a split second over the weekend, this movie was on sale for $9.99 on Vudu, or I could rent it for $3.99, which is
mhm.
four thirty, whatever it was here in Ohio. And I rented it.
Yeah,
I rented it. It just it didn't pass the cut for because I was like, I don't know when I'll watch it again.
yeah.
To what you just said. I think I know what the issue is with the film.
It's too long.
It's definitely too long, but that's not even the main issue because that honestly, as somebody who always points out when movies are too long,
Mhm.
this wasn't terribly. It felt shorter than what it was for some reason. I don't know why, but
Mhm.
it didn't feel like a drag. And I think because it's lighthearted, when the
Yeah,
serious movies and the dramas go too long, that you feel it. But this one was just kind of all over the place. But the issue is, even when you look at the poster, they fumbled the story.
Mm.
The A plot should have been the B plot, and the
Correct.
B plot should have been the A plot.
Correct.
Like her and Will, like Ollie and Will's relationship should have been the A plot. That should have been the main focus of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it was her being an agent and being in the boys club that was the main focus. And I get it, and it's cool because if we once again we go back just a few years to 2019, you look at what was going on. Time's up. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these barriers that were put up were slowly and not even slowly, loudly during that time starting to come down
Yeah.
and being forced to come down. And people are, we're here to reckon, with your past sins. I think they were really trying to tell a story in a comedy about equality, about um, black women in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
about all of these minor things, and it really wasn't the place to do it. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't tell your story, but if you're gonna make a rom com, make a rom com.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like you can sprinkle stuff in, but this isn't the vehicle to really drive that point across.
For
The
sure.
audience didn't come to that, and that's not me silencing you. That's just me telling you read the room like that.
Yeah.
Like this is your story right here, bro. Like this is everybody loves Aldous Hodge. Like he's one of those he's like the secret person that nobody talks about. Like women, when I'm talking about women, like women talk about him, but as an actor, as a fan of actors and a fan of acting, like the nigga got skills, man. He's talented.
For sure.
Like he's very talented, and he has much more to give than what you gave him in this film. Like
Yeah.
give him some more scenes, take some of that Tracy Morgan stuff out.
For sure.
Um, and I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but I've never shied away from the fact that I'm just not the biggest Tracy Morgan guy. And that's no hate on him because obviously he's very successful. Obviously he sells out things. People, he's a draw. He has fans. People like him. They love him. He's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that. Shout out to him though, man. Shout out to Hustle Man.
For sure.
So if things already getting knocked down, and it's whatever. But that's just what it is. I'm just not. If that's my leading comedic actor, then you're already kind of starting off on the wrong foot with me, and you're not giving me the story that I really want.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that was kind of the issue in my eyes.
Yeah. I'll second all of those emotions. I totally agree. And I think that to your point, in flipping the A and B plots, it just is a much more enjoyable movie because I did sign up for the rom-com of it all. I work in corporate America. I don't want to see that.
Right.
Unless
Like Rachel.
I'm signing up to see that.
Yeah, Rachel. It's a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know she likes him until an hour, 12 minutes into the film.
Into the movie. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, at the pool hall scene. And even then, it's by the end of it. It started off as a one-night stand, and then all this other stuff. And then, like I said, when there's 50 minutes left, then we'll get into the love story. That's unacceptable in my opinion.
For sure. For sure.
I didn't mean to cut you off, my bad.
No, that's it. I mean, you said it.
I don't know. I guess the main question and the most important question about this, if you had this power, would you use it or would you even want this power to begin with?
In the words of Beyonce, I didn't want this power. I would never, ever, ever, ever want to know what the fuck men are thinking.
It's like permanently going through the cell phone.
Yeah, I just
don't want that.
I don't need to know all that information. Maybe what my nigga is thinking, just only when I want to know it, not every single thought that comes through his brain cells while we're together. No, I don't need to know all of that.
Facts. I don't. That's not something I would want.
Mm-mm.
Or if I had the power, I would not use unless
you can't turn it off.
I'm saying in this fictional world, if I was able to turn it on and off, if I can control it on some X-Men shit, I probably wouldn't do it. However, to your point, certain moments and certain times where I really need to know or want to know what someone's thinking, I'm definitely going to use that shit. But it's just too much, man. It's not. I feel like it'd be depressing almost
For sure.
to always
Damn, is that
know
how you
someone.
really feel?
Yeah, yeah, because you're constantly. There is no illusion anymore. You really
Yeah,
know exactly who people are, and part of
yeah,
the going back to Reesa, man, that illusion kind of keeps
yeah,
you in the door.
yeah, for sure.
Um, and I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want it. I will ask you this: is there some kind of power, if you could possess, that you would want in regards to your relationship?
I don't know. I've had the
I don't.
power a couple times, and I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, I don't. I don't want anything. But my answer is I don't want anything.
Oh, I'm
So let me be
manipulative.
regular.
Can be a little manipulative, so maybe.
um,
Able to do what I want. What's wrong with y'all?
you do that anyway. I'm so let me ask you this.
Yes.
Is there anything outside of what we just talked about that you would do to kind of make the film better, or what were some of the highlights for you throughout the film?
So I did write down scenes, a
Yeah,
few scenes I loved.
let's get
So
into it.
I guess we'll get into it. The first partner meeting and her not being selected, that was perfect. Again, it sets us up. That's what you get, low key.
Yeah.
Meeting Will at the bar just because I love a good how did you meet? But beyond that, it's the horrible sex part that I really loved. And that was a question that I wanted to ask you because there are two sex scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
We grown, it's romance month, no names, no names, no names. But have you ever had an experience allegedly with
Like the
the
first
one
one?
like the first one where she was doing too much or you guys just weren't in sync, and did you double back and was the experience different?
Yeah, I've definitely had that happen before where it's just not. That's it's interesting, man, because I don't think it gets talked about enough. Just those awkward moments where it just ain't working,
Yeah.
especially when it just kind of um sometimes it can be like second nature to you.
Mhm.
You just kind of know your moves, you know your powers.
I'm scared of you.
Hey man, nah, I'm just talking about in general. This is all general speak. Attention off me.
Yeah.
Attention off me. But whatever you're comfortable with, when you know your sweet spot,
I know.
and then and then all of a sudden, then all of a sudden it just doesn't work with whoever or whatever for whatever reason. It's just kind of like, damn,
Mhm.
what's going on here? Um, there's only, and it's funny because there's one time in particular where I felt like I was that
Mhm.
to a woman where I was like, damn, I always wanted to kind of double back and just get
Yeah.
my because
Get
I
your
knew
revenge.
I just yeah, man, because I just knew because I'm shit, man. I'm trying to think about how yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm not even gonna go down that path.
Yeah.
However, usually I don't double back after that because it's just if I'm fucking with you, like if I'm really fucking with you and
Yeah.
we trying to get to know each other type shit, then yeah, that's different. But if it just happened or niggas have flirted their way into a situation or
Mhm.
talk some shit they went into the situation, shit talk they went into a situation, and it just wasn't that, then it just wasn't that. And
Correct.
I would appreciate if we both acknowledge that that never happened.
Oh, I'm a never counter.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
you on that.
Who?
I feel you on that. Like I
What?
don't even know what you're
I
talking about.
I don't recall.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna be funny style. Like I'm gonna say what's up and everything. What's up? How you been? You good? I ain't
Oh,
gonna do that. It's different for you, probably, Rachel. It's as a nigga, like to act funny style like that towards a woman. I think that's a little bit skep.
yeah.
Um, but we ain't that. It ain't that. A matter
Yeah.
of fact, that ain't even happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I Since I asked you, I guess it's only fair for me to answer. Ooh, yes, because how do I want to give this? I'm not a pillow princess, but I want to see what you can do so I can see what I need to do.
Mm.
But there have been some times where I just stared like, what the fuck is happening?
It's
Or
awkward, man.
just have to get up, like, I don't know. I don't feel well. Something's happening. Um,
Yo, now that's something I will say that's never happened to me, and I don't know how I would react if some shit like that happened.
yeah, it's really, really crazy. Or, and again, the level in which we're dealing with each other, that changes things because now, like, am I fumbling to try to make something work? Like, this is crazy. Or do you just let it go and not just be that? I'm not a huge double backer at this day and age. If it's not right, I just go with God, crispy. I just don't even want to do it. Like, we'll have to figure it out. Like, I would have to be so led. There would have to be so many things that take place for us to even be back in a scenario where that would even be possible.
Nah,
And
I'm
that's
with you on
only if
that.
it's horrible. If it just was like, oh, okay, it wasn't. What did Sylvie say? If it wasn't extraordinary, that's fine. Again, people got to find
Yeah,
a groove. But if it was just awful or some shit like what Will and Ollie had going on, I don't know if I'm coming back for that. How do we
yeah,
even get
nah,
to the point where I want to take you on a date? Like, yes, they went to the game. She was playing, we played pool, we had a good date, but I don't know even how we get to the date.
nah, and that's fair, and that's you know, um, I think everybody knows the difference. You know what I mean between this is absolutely like, what the fuck is going on versus all right, it's a little clunky, but there's some we just got to take some time to figure each other out.
Right.
And there's definitely a difference in obviously learning each other's bodies and everything like that. But um, yeah, if it's one of those like, nah, that's a limit, and I don't even I hate to use that term like especially with stuff like that, but
To
this
the
shit ain't hitting like it's supposed to hit. Like, then what are we doing?
For
What are we doing?
sure.
That's cool, man.
For sure. I had a conversation with a friend, I guess, and he said that if sex is not good, it's the woman's fault.
I don't subscribe to. I'm sure there's plenty of times where shit didn't had nothing to do with the woman.
That's what I said. But he's like,
Yeah.
you're not getting wet. Not me. We've never crossed that line. Um, you're not getting wet, this, that, and the third. Like, that's all you. I'm like, but it's totally not because what are you doing to get it going? And candidly, in this movie, what we're talking about and what men want, I guess, get back on track and out of these people business. Uh, Ollie was doing a lot, and I wondered. I'll tell you off mic. There's somebody that we both know that reminds me of her. Um,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
and I would think that
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I would bet you experiences look a lot like that. If a nigga told me that that was that, I would be like, bet. Thought so. Figure this
But
much.
see, and the thing is, like, if that were to happen, I will say this: if that were to happen, like, I'm flipping the script ASAP. Like, you're
But
not. I'm
how
about
do
to.
you?
Oh, you do it. Trust me. There's ways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the cap. I'm the captain now.
No, that's
You feel me? I'm the captain now. I'm just saying, like, you just gotta. Nah, for real, man. You gotta establish dominance, like in
for
those
sure.
situations.
For
Like,
sure. But
you
Ali
gotta.
in her life, she didn't listen to men. She was all about I got myself.
Well, sound like the
Me and the
motherfucking
world.
Thunderdome. Hey, listen, sound like the Thunderdome at that point. Two will enter, one will leave. Nigga, we gonna battle it out.
See, that's horrible. Not everybody
we gonna
just
battle.
sore and tired, and not in a good way. Uh,
Oh shit. Um,
meeting Joe Dollar at the photo shoot, just because, even though Tracy Morgan's not like my favorite comedian, it just was a silly ass scene. And obviously, we're not athletes or parent. Well, you are.
I appreciate that, Rachel. That's
I got you. I got you.
there's
I
people.
got you.
Hey, some of my niggas out here listening to the pod just roll their eyes like this nigga. I former athlete. Let's say former athlete. All right.
You're a coach. Come
Yeah,
on.
man.
Come
Yeah, man.
on. You're
Hey,
a
I'll be
coach.
out there. I'll be out there busting them kids' ass. What?
Pause.
Oh shit.
So, so blah 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 blah. It just was silly. And how these and look at how these parents interfere and ruin their children's opportunities potentially. Um Ali realizing that she can hear men's thoughts just because that's crazy. Poker
Yeah.
night again.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on, real quick. Let's go back to that's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay. Okay.
That's probably my first favorite scene in the film is
God
when she
damn.
realized it. So yeah, the first 22, 25 minutes, they're doable. They're passable.
They
They're
slow
not
walking.
getting scared. They're not Queen and Slimming me. I'm not about to get up out the theater. I'm not about to do any of that. But they're not pulling me in.
Yeah.
But this one was just the mental aspect of it, just realizing that you can hear people's thoughts, all of the random ass thoughts she was hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And even before that, going to sister, because Erica Badu was hilarious in this film.
For sure.
And, she's slamming those tarot cards down.
Silly.
Then she knows it looks like bullshit. Then she knows exactly what's going on. You about to get a relationship. Name starts with a W. His name's Will. Like, hold on, because it's those moments that like, hold on, what the fuck? How you know that? I felt like the Black Youngster clip. Like, how the fuck you know that? To them wilding at the bachelor party, to her hitting her head, and then waking up and realizing she has these powers.
For sure.
So everything that happened in that whole time span, I definitely rocked with, because what do you do with that? Like, how do you even? Yeah, crazy.
What's happening?
Yeah. And you, honey, you were about to say what scene?
Poker night.
I'm trying to think of... So, yeah, okay, go ahead. My scene came after poker night.
Okay, yeah, just because it was silly. And again, this is before she has actual good sex with Will. So Ali is she lacks self-awareness. And so during the poker game, for me, it was the first time when she overheard her boss say, God, please don't take all his money, which she fully intended on doing, because this is what she thinks that being in the boys club means. This is what she thinks men want. So I just like that, because it was the first time we sort of saw her not go with her instinct,
Right.
So I just like that shit, and it was just ridiculous, because any random movie scene with Shaq, I'm gonna love, because he's so random and ridiculous.
Shaq is the definition of random and ridiculous. Absolutely. And that makes sense. They was filming in Atlanta in the TNT Turner Studios. They're down in Atlanta, so Shaq, Grant Hill, everybody in there. That made sense.
Right.
You look like you were gonna say something.
I was gonna say, what's your scene? I wonder if it's mine.
The next, just that meeting at the agency, the rap video with Jamal, because that shit was so. Rachel, this is what I mean when I said this film was trying to say other things. Listen, for all y'all listening out there, this is what happens when y'all invite motherfuckers to the cookout. I'm telling you. That's why I be trying to gatekeep the cookout.
For sure.
I be saying stop giving them invites out, because motherfuckers ain't cool like that. They cool, but they ain't cool like that.
For sure.
And when people start getting comfortable, they start doing shit like this.
Yeah.
And every time I watch this scene, all 3 times I've seen it in my life, I think about if I was Joe Dollar. If I think about if I was a father and my son is a top draft prospect, and an agency put that out there on some real shit, thinking that was cool.
What I wanted.
Like who am I slapping first in this room?
Period.
You know what I mean? Like, I know we ain't supposed to be talking about Puff, but when Puff took that weight and was swinging it at coaches at UCLA, I get it, because they probably did some shit like this. Because if you're doing that, bro, why stop playing with me? Stop playing in our face like that. You got You got the jets, you got the champagne popping, you got the dollars all over the place. Like, bruh, come on, man. You're not about to stereotype
For
my
sure.
son and our entire family. Like, stop playing with me. Police sirens, can't nobody ball like Jamal, no cap. Like, get the fuck out of here, bruh.
It just was so ridiculous and
It was
crazy.
so ridiculous that it was funny. Like, it was too ridiculous to be offended by
Yeah.
almost. Like,
Yeah.
this shit's y'all gotta be fucking with me. But yeah, that was my next scene. What's
That's
yours?
your next scene. Mine is family day at the Hawks game, just because seeing Ali trying to finagle that shit. Like, she was
Ben
being so
Ben.
extra. You could
Ben, Ben, Ben,
Ben,
Ben, Ben, Ben, Ben, Ben.
what his daddy call him, like it just was weird. Cause girl, what the fuck are you doing? Um, obviously the second sex scene where they finally work together to achieve the goal, and that's how it be. Again, niggas is tired in a good way. Um, the boss ruining Ollie and Will's relationship. Actually, before that, when Will and Ben came to meet her father, just the sort of the bonding moment between them all,
Yeah,
and realizing, we saw that her mother wasn't around, but we didn't know that she died, and she grew up without a mom, much like Ben. And so that really is probably what made her like Will. He reminded her of her father.
right. Before you even get there, I want to stop at the double date.
Mhm.
Because like I mentioned earlier, that's the first time that we even see the romance, taking place or
Yeah.
starting, the genesis of it.
Mhm.
Um, Also she finds out about her friend Mari. Yeah,
Mhm.
Mari. Her
Mari.
dudes like just ain't shit. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Looking at women at the bar, she hit that before the wed, maybe after it. Obviously she hitting them with the pool stick and all that kind of stuff. But more importantly than that, she's constantly throughout this film with her powers, not only getting information she wants, but learning about herself. Like, this is the perception I've been putting out. Like, I
for
don't even
sure,
know why she fuck with her. She's a shitty friend. She only think about herself.
for
She always
sure.
flaking on people. This is what people think. It's different when you know you're doing it.
Mhm.
It's another thing when somebody call you out on it, like somebody you care about. Like, this is what I think about you. You hurt me in this way because you do X, Y, and Z. That's when you first starting to realize that, oh damn, I gotta do better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking up.
Have you ever went on a double date where you ain't like the partner?
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. For sure.
100%. 100%. I've never been on a double date that was my idea.
Mm.
Never been on a double date that was my idea. Facts. Also
Uh,
about that saying, she also learns that Will ain't on some bullshit. Like, Will is really feeling her. Like, why would I think about her when I got you standing right here in front of me? I'm sure as a woman, if you know that's a nigga's inner thoughts, like, come on. What are we talking about?
That's
Hey
silly.
man, what's your next scene, man? Go, man. What's
You're
your
not
next scene, man?
sleepy. Um, the boss is in the relationship just because, nigga, why you fucking up my shit?
Yo, now hold on, talk about real quick, Rachel. That nigga was so mad that she lost that client that nigga didn't care. Hey, my nigga Will came up all happy. Hey, what's up? Hey, that nigga said, hey, you can dead all that shit, bruh. Ain't nobody believing that shit no more. That nigga
What,
was confused.
but
Go
why
ahead.
was he so mad at her? Like, nigga, this nigga took our client that we all been working with. That don't have shit to do with me.
Cause man, it was the blame game. You the one out here parading that you got them. The nigga, you supposed to deliver them to the finish line. That's just how it works. If you claiming them, then you gonna claim the failure as well. You gonna get the anger. Obviously, the whole, you a double, you a woman and you black. I really can't fire your ass because I
Right.
want to. Just that aggression and shit. Like, hold on, calm down. Talking to her like that. But yeah, she got all that heat. Not only that, but the shit was over. To your point, Rachel. Like, all right, man, you gave me my little talking to. Cool,
That's
man. You ain't got to come out here on some like, you
that's
know what? Dead this shit. And her trying to like clean it up because in those situations, it's easier just to sit there with the look on your face, like, my bad, bro. Like,
right.
don't try to. Hey, can we talk about this in my nigga? Like, you use my son as a prop. Like,
No,
come on,
that's
man, stop
stupid.
playing with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm like for real, Will shouldn't have even they should have never even got back together.
Because here's the thing. Because we didn't even know that she even liked him until after the Hawks game, at the game, after the game was a perfect opportunity for her to be like, look, let me tell you what's going on. Um, Even if she didn't even have to say that they were married, she just could have said, "This is my man and his
Mhm.
son." Like you didn't have to do all of that, you know. So, but she
She
could have
did
told
that. Yeah, man. This is like the reverse of Jadena to Molly. You look like you needed a win. Like hey, that's a
she
wild
could
shit to
have said,
that's a wild shit to say to a woman, man.
silly as fuck, silly as
Um, but
um,
yeah, this you gotta have some kind of if it's that because the margin for error is so slim. At some
exactly,
point, some shit gonna slip out that ain't supposed to slip out. So let me pull you to the side real quick. We talking about
exactly,
the number one draft pick. We talking about me being a partner. I'm
exactly,
buttoning all this shit up, bro. Let me slide. Come here
exactly.
real quick, man. Do me a solid real quick. I fuck with you, but do me a solid real quick. Like I'm trying because listen, I think Will, and I love to hear people's thoughts on this. People in general, not
Mhm.
woman, not man, people in general, for the most part, always, at least if you keep it a buck with them and tell them what's going on, you'll
That
get a
part,
very direct answer about how it's gonna go forward.
that part,
Either A, I'm gonna rock with it, or B, nah,
that,
I ain't fucking with that.
that part.
If a woman who was an agent who just invited me to the skybox, Simon in the skybox, shout out to my Martin fans, just invited me to the skybox. I'm meeting whoever, big wigs, all drinks, food, the whole nine. I'm getting the full service. Watching NBA can bring my son with me.
Hmm.
Knowing you an agent, you got clients. So at some point, I could probably rub shoulders with some people I normally wouldn't rub shoulders with. If you
Come,
just kept it a buck, was like, hey, I'm trying to sign Jamal Berry, the nigga that everybody know who about to be number one in the
mm,
draft. He from the city. I'm trying to sign him. I'm real close to him. His pops is a little bit out there. He loves family shit. I know we starting early, but hey, would you mind kind of playing the part and we'll see what happens from it? We build from there.
that
All you
part,
gotta do is say that.
that
I
part.
can't see him being like, nah, what the fuck is you on? You gonna use
Exactly.
man? What the fuck? Where you need
Especially
me to
if you
be?
liked her.
Yeah, like I just met Jamal Berry. You heard him in the thing. Like, oh shit, this nigga remember my name. This nigga is a grown man, and this is
Geeked by
somebody
the
who's
kid.
19 years old.
Yeah.
Getting geeked about some teenager remembering who you are. Man, niggas in sports is like kids in candy stores, man. Of
Silly.
course, I'm gonna help you out. Shit, you gonna keep bringing me to these games,
Exactly. Exactly.
even if we don't work out, nigga. You gonna still keep bringing me to these games? You
To the
feel me?
skybox. To
To
the
the
skybox.
skybox. You know what I mean?
Um, the wedding, obviously, which I have it as a favorite scene just because it's ridiculous, but I actually hate the scene in
What
and
do you
of
mean?
itself.
Like what happened in the scene or the actual just scene itself?
I hate the actual scene. I have it written down just because it's worth noting. Like, bitch, why did you do this at the people wedding?
Yeah, now that's nasty. That's real disgusting.
It that and then now you want to tell the truth. Like, nah, it ain't time for no truth telling at this point. Like, you could have been said that shit, even if she just heard at the wedding. But you telling me some shit from a year ago, y'all ain't still fucking my cousin or whatever. Yeah, do I want to know? But right now, while we at the altar, no.
Hey, but like we discussed at the beginning of this episode, when they were at the tequila night or Margarita Monday, she said like I really wanted it to be. I was so pressed on living this life that I
Mm,
just like I knew this dude wasn't shit, but
yeah.
he was trying to marry me, so I was with it.
Is Amari Tessa?
Hey, listen, she said the same exact shit. I noted it.
Full circle.
Full circle moment. Full
See
circle
what
moment.
happens when you try to build you a nigga up? Don't do it.
the
Reconsider.
uh, the wedding scene was ridiculous.
It
I
was
would have been I would have been the only way that's a good experience is if you're in the audience. If you're in the
The
pews,
only way.
that's the only way, man. And you're not getting outed for whatever reason or whatever crime you done committed, sin you
Mhm.
done committed, whatever it is, man. Because that's just very inconsiderate and shitty. And a lot of people got this goes into my next scene, I guess montage is all the reconciliations
Mhm.
that she made with her assistant, that she made with um, Will at the end of the movie, that she made with um, her friends. She didn't really deserve the reciprocity.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we appreciate the apology, but that's not some shit that you just.
I'm not so easily over.
Yeah, not that time. Maybe at some point, Mari can say, "Hey, you know, a couple years pass."
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't think people even forgive. It would be more of one of those. It doesn't matter because I knew he wasn't shit. So it
Mhm.
was gonna end up like this anyway. But it's still fucked up that you the reason why it happened like that.
That
I
part.
think that can go more passable. And even with Will, like, come on, man. When you start playing with my kids and shit, like, there's not. That's just sick behavior. I can't build with you past that. There's certain things where once you cross certain lines, the building part of this is over.
Yeah.
Like, there's nowhere else we can take this. Like, you've messed that up.
I have written down, I don't want to say the craziest part of all of this is that for real, Ali doesn't have any redeeming qualities. It would be different if you were just this crazy businesswoman, but you were like a good person on the back end. She really wasn't a good person. You're not a good friend. You're not a great partner. You don't know how to fuck. Um, I don't
You got some
know.
bread. You got some
You got
bread,
some money, and that's
and you
it.
got some
And you
access to some people.
successful.
You got some access to an audience that I normally wouldn't have access with. But
Yeah,
we all know how that goes. When you start playing the love game because of what people can do for you,
for sure.
come on, you know how that's gonna end.
For sure.
That's a great point, Rachel, because there isn't.
It's nothing redeeming. You don't have any redeeming qualities.
No, there really aren't. Like, there's nothing that makes me want to stick by you. Like that one thing in the back of my head. Well, damn, she does do this. Juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, the movie, it they don't make us like her despite
That's a fair
all
point.
these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch.
Yeah, you would have thought Gabby Union was playing the role. She's the queen of that role. That
Perfect.
like
Perfect
she's the queen of
role.
that.
Perfect.
Um,
She would 1,000.
yeah,
I can see her as Ali. 1,000.
yeah, she just 1,000% one of her roles.
Yes.
And she in that Will Packer circle, so it would have.
Right.
I could have seen it. I could have
Mhm.
seen it. I don't know if it has the Taraji's just more box office. Um,
Ooh, you think so?
absolutely,
Ooh,
absolutely. Taraji got Oscar knobs and all that stuff. Taraji's more box office than Gabby.
okay.
If I'm selling a movie, if I want people to go to the theaters,
Mm.
this is interesting. I'll have to pull up some numbers. Next week, I'm going to come with some numbers.
Yeah, I would be very curious to know what that looks like. I'll say what I
Yeah.
gotta say off mic.
the
I will.
only other thing, the only the only other things that I have written down as far as scenes are when Ali leaves the agency,
Mm,
finds her worth, realizes that I don't even want to be a part of this boys club. Want to
yeah,
do my own thing, make my own lane, because there are, especially when it comes to agents, it's very intentional that they pick that kind of profession where there aren't a
yeah,
lot of black agents, black women agents.
yeah,
Um, so that being highlighted is a real thing. Her starting her own thing and having Kevin go with her because
yeah,
he's a numbers guy. He saw the numbers like, yo, I ain't never gonna front on you and act like you ain't good at your job. So you a beast at that.
yeah.
And kind of getting that new start, that was dope. The whole Coach D'Amato, any given Sunday type of feel that it had to it. You know,
Mhm.
that press conference at the end of any given
I
Sunday.
got
By the way,
that.
I just signed Willie Beam into a multi-year extension. Like, just not only am I leaving, I'm taking your top dog with me too. That I just like that whole atmosphere. Then
Yeah,
the end credits because Erica Badu once again was silly. Like that
silly.
shit was just it was just funny, just goofy shit. So that's all I have for scenes. I only have one quote written down. Did you have
Okay.
anything for quotes?
Yeah, okay. I've got Rolling calls and crushing balls, just because I may or may not add that. Welcome to Wakanda. We remember how big Black Panther was when it came
Mm-hmm.
out. So that was funny. I haven't smoked that in years. I'm high on Christ. Amen. Christ the solid rock I stand. I thought Black people stopped drinking tea after Get Out. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smoke or nothing after sex, but I'm gonna get some Gatorade because it'd be like that. Get your electrolytes up.
So you want some electrolytes?
And what do you see in that gin jockey? I think that's what I'm also about to add to
I
the
can
board.
definitely see you. I can definitely see you saying that.
That's all.
I can definitely see it. If if you if you ever get into the acting world, whenever it's your turn to play like the shady black mama, like you would body that role, Rachel.
Lynn Whitfield, is that
You know what I'm
you?
saying? Like you will body that role.
Thank you.
You said my quote. I thought Black people stop drinking tea after Get Out.
Yeah.
Scene stealer. Now I will say this about this film. It had a very strong scene stealer category, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Um, who is yours, Rachel?
Erica Badu.
Same. Erica Badu's sister. She's just hilarious. In a not trying to be funny type of way, my type of humor type of way.
Yeah.
The same way I said Tracy Morgan ain't my type of funny. Erica Badu, when the shit she was doing is kind of my, because it's just silly. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we all know some goofy ass people like that.
My
And
Pisces.
even
Sis.
her responses, we all know weed is illegal in the state of Georgia for now. Like just stupid shit like that.
Right.
Talking about costume, jewelry. Yeah. Shout out to Erica Badu, man. And plus, I just love Erica Badu in general.
For sure.
But Wendy McClendon Covey, she was funny in this film as Olivia. Richard Roundtree, shout out to the late great Richard Roundtree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was definitely in that category. Even and I didn't write down his name. The child actor who played Ben.
Ben.
Yeah, John Austin or something, if I'm not mistaken. But I just thought he was a pretty, decent kid actor for what he needed. Yeah, absolutely. Like very regal for his age. Almost very distinct. Like, he could have been like the Black Richie Rich or something.
Yeah.
Things that bother you?
The movie.
I feel you on that. There's only one thing that bothers me, and it's just random. The placement of Jill Scott's Golden just didn't fit with the movie.
But I felt like I didn't like the scoring of the movie in general.
I think that's a Will Packer thing. I'm not a big fan of the way Will Packer films are scored in general.
Got it. He needs to call Raphael Sadiq.
Everybody should call Raphael Sadiq.
For sure.
But yeah, the placement of it just didn't fit with the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Usually when I hear that song, and they got the montage part down, but they spend a lot of time in the pool hall. That's an outdoorsy montage type of shit.
Yeah.
Not some pool hall in the bed. Yeah, man. I don't know. Come see About Me. Nothing really. Any actors from The Wire? Absolutely not. Thank you. Soundtrack, we just kind of touched on that briefly. Wouldn't let that happen to me. I said mine pretty much. If I'm Will, I'm not. Like, I appreciate the apology.
But
I
that's
ain't doubling back.
Yeah,
because not even you're not even adding anything. Even the cool shit, the toys that you got, you don't even share them. Fuck you. What we talking about, man? Trivia. There wasn't even anything interesting trivia wise about this film. It's just kind of like I said, I didn't need it, but they gave it to us, so I'll take it. But
do you feel like it was a money grab movie? We coming off of Think Like a Man 2. That's Taraji and Wendy.
That movie was awful.
Shit.
That was. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready to say if that was worse than this. Think Like a Man 2 was terrible.
Ooh.
Think Like a Man 2 was bad, man.
It's not worse.
It's not like Why Did I Get Married to bad. But it is bad. Why did I get married to it? Come on. Come on, man. What the fuck are we doing? Yeah, what are we? I don't even know what we're talking about. The Rock being in that movie was hilarious. Everything about that movie, even the stuff that's not supposed to be funny, is funny about that film.
Hello.
But I said it, and I don't want to, as we wrap up, I don't want to beat it into nauseum. Whoa, pause. Sheesh. I don't want to say it to nauseum, but or beat it in the ground is what I was gonna say earlier. But fuck it. It just is what it is, man. We didn't need it. Like we just didn't need the film.
Yeah.
And I get it. I know you asked if it's a money grab. It's studio's main objective is to make money, turn a profit. It made $50 million. Um, I've said this before in previous episodes. The original stories, unfortunately, are few and far between. I think they're starting to swing back some. But 2018, 2019, if you're not Marvel, then you either a remake of something or a reboot of something.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting concept. What could happen if I heard the opposite sexes thoughts? It was hanging right out there. They did what women want. It was hanging right out there for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's flip this. Will Packer got a hold of it. Everybody showed up to work, but it was for me. If I was an actor, it would have been a money grab check. Like, oh yeah, y'all want me to do this movie? Like, sure, why not? I'll make a few million just for bullshitting around in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't care if anybody sees this. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Viewers,
it is what it is. Yeah, man. We are at that part of the episode where we get the chance to rate the film. The average viewer rates this film 5.4 out of 10. Rachel, is that too high, too low, just right?
Just right. I'm gonna go 5.5. With brown eyes.
You know what? I'm gonna go to 6.
Okay.
5. When you get in the, when you're, for me personally, when you're 5 to 5.9, there's probably only one or two things that I could take away from the film that I like. While I won't watch any scenes from this film again, like I won't pull any scene from this movie up on YouTube. The performances, it's almost to wrap this up. It's almost like the Teesa shit. You kind of got to watch the whole thing to get the full grasp of everything. You don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
You don't need to, but if you do, you kind of understand things a little bit better and have a different perspective.
Yeah.
I was telling one of my boys, man, shout out to Phil. We was talking about it, and he was on some, man, I'm not about to sit here and watch all this. And I'm like, you know what? You really don't need to.
Yeah.
But if you do, it just helps you understand things a little bit better about her perspective. And that's how I feel this film is. Like, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but if you do, you kind of get some things that you can take away. They're just not cohesive. I appreciated the acting. I appreciate what they were trying to do. I appreciate certain just silly ass moments. Erykah Badu, the Hawks game, stuff like that. It just doesn't have one single scene where I would pull up on YouTube. Like, what's that scene for What Men Want? Yeah. Nah, it don't do that for me. For all the collective shit, I'm gonna give it a 6.
There we go. I can appreciate that. Shout out to Reesa Teesa again for being a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, man. Shout out to that sister, man. And I meant that genuinely. Like, please save some, like, hold some space for her, man. Show that woman some grace, man, and let her heal. Even though she, like I said, I get it. Don't give people the stick to hit you in the head with. It was her decision to bring this out and put it out in public. You know, may God just prepare her for all the things that are coming her way because of that, good and bad. But with that being said, Rachel, we got one more week left in Romance Month.
It's your pick.
It is my pick. It won't be What Men Want. I know that for sure.
It's good.
But for everybody out there, we appreciate y'all. Please check the Linktree in our episode description for more content from Culture Garden, School's Guilty Pleasures. We got y'all. Please make sure you're subscribed. We have more content coming from y'all. We'll be back next week with a whole new episode and to wrap up Romance Month. With that being said, y'all be cool. How y'all be cool?
Peace out. God bless y'all. Bye.
Peace.